Hi, today I'd like to present to you the reproduction unit for black soldier flies in a country where there is no black soldier flies naturally here because it's too cold. So with our group of citizens, we've been coming up with all kinds of designs, and one of them, Clément, used to work in a glass house company, and so he came up with this totally innovative idea, which is with a kind of a glass house effect. So this is how it works. So we figured out that with €12.50, we can make this reproduction unit that's perfect for using in an apartment. Basically, it's a 30-liter plastic container that you flip upside down. There are two sets of holes. So first of all, you have the main hole, which is going to enable you to reach inside. Oh, by the way, this is closed. So basically, I could have made a sleeve with a knot, but I found that I could use much less fabric if I used a nylon stocking. And here I can just put my hand in and reach for whatever items inside. So that's how we reach inside. Secondly, inside here there are several items. One is thermometer, because I noticed that with the glasshouse effect, sometimes the temperature, when it's in the summer in the sun, the temperature can shoot up to 50 or 60 degrees Celsius, and then all of the flies just die. And so it's good to keep an eye on that. The second thing that's really important is to have a little device for the flies to be able to drink without drowning. And so it's just a really cheap little sponge put in the bottom of a Tetra Pak with water. One jar here has the pupas in there with a bit of sand, so they have a place to hide, and because it's a dry environment, they cannot crawl out and then leave your system. We had one person who just put all the larvae on the bottom here, and of course it is not airtight, so of course they all escaped. So you don't want to do that. You want to put them in a jar. And then they'll just, the flies will just come out of there. And then, now, reproduction units, the places where they lay eggs. We have two systems here. It needs to be tested which ones are better. One here is with smell. You put something rotting on the bottom, or something like stinky or whatever, rotting food. And the smell will attract them, and they will lay in here. That is one trap. We've got, and then we've got plug-and-play systems. So basically, there are little rectangular holes on the side of the plastic thing itself. With each time, so we did it 5 centimeters by 12 millimeters, so 50 by 12. And basically, it fits 3 rows of corrugated cardboard. And basically, they will go and lay in there, in the cells. The great thing about that is you can kind of quantify how many things they've laid, approximately. And so that's good for people who don't want to start fiddling with the eggs to be able to weigh them. And the great thing about this is you don't even have to put your hand in there. You just take one of these tapes, and when you take this out, you tape the hole, and you put the cardboard things in a nursery. I'll show you that later. And then when you have new cardboard things, you take off the tape and put these back in. So it's like a plug-and-play system. Now, the awesome thing about using a plastic box system like this instead of a net that goes around a kind of a structure is that, of course, if you buy online kind of a bug aviary, you might get it for maybe €35, and it's designed in a great way where the seams are designed so that they can't go and lay eggs all over the place. But if you want to do some cheap testing with a system that you can kind of make yourself for just like around 12 euros, if you were to build one yourself, you would probably have a lot of sewing areas or places where the structure and the net stick together, or many places where they can just go and lay eggs in all the wrong places, and that's going to make your reproduction experience a living hell. Plus then it'll be really hard to wash. And so with this system, it solves many problems. First of all, in this kind of climate where it's not very hot, you get the glasshouse effect and not too much cross-air. And that's amazing because you have the heat factor. The second thing is, because of the smooth surfaces inside, there is no way that they can lay eggs anywhere. And except in the places where you kind of want them to lay. And also, you have the fact that the lid is on the bottom and that it's not on the top. Instead of going and laying all around the lid, I have noticed that they don't have a tendency to go lay on the bottom, on the edge, but that is, of course, to be tested. But I've had pretty positive results like that. And the other thing also is when you need to replace and replenish and clean up the thing, it's really easy to wash. And so there's so many advantages here just in the system. So some people say it's not that great that they lay their eggs in the cardboard thing because of some kind of fungus that kills the eggs or whatever. I find that this system is just awesome if you're just at home doing this in a kind of a casual manner. If you want to do it like the professional way, you have pieces of wood that are slightly spaced and that are full of, when they lay the eggs, you scrape it off, and then you have to disinfect or sterilize these things of wood. And it's just a lot of handling, and given the size of these eggs, by handling you're going to get some eggs under your nails or somewhere, and so the least touching you need to do, the best it is. And so I just love this system because then you can just grab them and you put them in a nursery. So what I have here is just a 5-liter bucket. Just cut a hole in the top with a circular compass, and I double face taped a net on top. And so basically in the bottom I'm just going to put some mush food, and each time I'm going to have these cardboard things with eggs in it, I'll just take it and I stick them in the mush, but the eggs facing upwards, so not touching the food, so it's kind of still dry there, and by the time they hatch, within the 3 days they hatch, they have the time to kind of ride down into the food. And then you've got this brown cardboard which is compostable, and so you could just leave it in there, and I just think that's just a really easy system. Plus you can kind of approximately count how many clusters of eggs you have and quantify then approximately how much you have. For the testing we've been doing in the larva systems, the bucket and bucket system that we have for fattening the larvas, we use, and I will show you that in the next video, we use about 4,000 larvas per system. And so that would be about 5 clusters only. So you could keep a count of that, or you could put many more in there and then divide it later once they've eaten and they're big enough. And so this is the nursery. And then when you want to put that in one of the bucket systems that I will show you in a minute, you just do it without the lid and put it in the systems that I will show you in a second.
Ready?
So please try this system out. If you have any comments, please share. This is experimental, and so we're just all trying it out.
Ready?
Yeah, you can turn it off.